What is going on, Panther Nation? Pro Football Focus just dropped a nuclear bomb on the 2025 season grades, and you will not believe which fan favorite is sitting in the absolute basement of the rankings. I'm talking about a player we all thought was holding it down, yet the analytics say he was a complete liability. Plus, the rumor mill is spinning out of control with whispers that a certain Green Bay playmaker might be packing his bags for Charlotte. Is this the missing piece Bryce Young has been waiting for, or is it another trap waiting to happen? We are breaking it all down right now. But before we dive into these shocking numbers and trade rumors, do me a massive favor. If you love this team and you want to stay ahead of the curve, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a beat of Carolina action. We are building something special here, and I want you in the huddle with us. Alright, let's get straight to the controversy because I know that is what you are here for. PFF released their final grades for the best and worst Carolina Panthers of the 2025 season, and I have to be honest, some of these names made me do a double take. I was looking at this list like, are we watching the same games? On the offensive side, the top 5 kings of the year were Taylor Moton, our rookie sensation Teteroa McMillan, Damian Lewis, Jalen Coker, and, wait for it, Brady Christensen. Yeah, Brady cracking the top 5 was a genuine surprise to me. I know he's been versatile, but top 5. That is a bold claim. But the real drama, the stuff that is going to get people talking, is at the bottom of the list. According to PFF, the worst offensive players included Hunter Renfrow, Xavier Legette, Jatavian Sanders, Chandler Zavala, and Cade Mays. Hold up for a second. Cade Mays with a grade hovering around 61. I have got to disagree with the analytics here. I do not care what the spreadsheet says, when I watched the tape this season, Mays looked light years ahead of Austin Corbett at center. He passed the eye test for me. He looked physical, he looked aware, yet he is ranked as a bottom 5 liability while Corbett skates by without making the list. That simply does not add up to me. And then you look at Jatavian Sanders. I thought he had a solid season. Was he a superstar? No. But was he one of the worst players on the offense? I really don't think so. I feel like that ankle injury in the finale might have tanked his stock a little bit because he couldn't finish strong, but labeling him a bottom-tier player feels incredibly harsh. It really makes you ask the question, does a spreadsheet really know more about heart, hustle, and game impact than the fans who watch every single snap? I don't know about that. Now, flip it over to the defense, because this is where I actually got heated. The honor roll includes Mike Jackson, Derek Brown, Corey Thornton, Nick Scott, and Ashawn Robinson. Huge shout out to Corey Thornton for sneaking into that elite group, the kid played his heart out. But the worst list. This is where they lost me. They listed Princely Umanmielen, Christian Rozeboom, LaBryan Ray, Chris Barnes, and Tershawn Wharton. Look, I will give Princely a pass. He is a rookie, he dealt with injuries, and he didn't get the consistent reps to truly prove himself. But Tershawn Wharton being dead last. That is a wild take. Turk felt like one of the few consistent disruptors we had on that defensive line. Seeing him ranked below everyone else is baffling. And as for Rozeboom, man, it hurts to see him there. He was supposed to be a centerpiece, a guy we relied on, but leading the team with 19 missed tackles. The stats don't lie on that one. That is a tough pill to swallow for a guy who was supposed to be a leader. But let's shift gears to something a little more exciting, something spicy. Could Romeo Doubs be trading the frozen tundra for the Queen City? Doubs posted a cryptic goodbye montage on his Instagram, and the internet is convinced he's leaving the Packers. The question is, should our front office pick up the phone? Reports suggest Doubs is looking for a payday around $12 million a season. That is not cheap for a guy who hasn't cracked 1,000 yards yet, but you have to look at the trajectory. His arrow is pointing straight up. Compare that to the Christian Kirk chatter we had yesterday. Kirk is a proven vet, sure, but he's been in the league for a decade and is starting to decline. Doubs is entering his prime. His production has climbed every single year, from 400 yards as a rookie to over 700 this past season. He is already outproducing what we've seen from our current young core. If I had to choose between breaking the bank for an aging veteran or investing in the upside of Doubs, I'm taking Doubs 10 times out of 10. But let's not overpay, he'd be a great addition, but only at the right price. And that brings me to the question of the day, and I need you to get active in the comments for this one. I want you to put on your GM hat. If you were calling the shots, would you spend the money to bring in Romeo Doubs, or would you save that cash and draft a receiver instead? Do we pay for the proven talent or gamble on a rookie? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I really want to see where Panther Nation stands on this. We also cannot ignore the elephant in the room, the offensive line. With Icky's injury future uncertain, we absolutely have to draft a tackle in the first or second round. We used 14 different line combinations this year, that is insanity. You cannot build a winning culture when you are shuffling the deck every Sunday. Imagine what this offense could do with some actual stability. I've been scouting the 2026 class, and there are some names you need to know. Francis Mauigoa from Miami, Spencer Fano from Utah, and a guy who really caught my eye last night, Carter Smith from Indiana. I watched Smith in that game against Miami, and aside from one disciplined false start, the guy was a mauler. He has the build, the size, and the nasty streak we need in the trenches. I'm also looking at guys like Caleb Lamu and Jennings Dunker. I'll be honest, I need to dive deeper into the film on Drew Shelton from Penn State, but right now, Carter Smith feels like he could be a steal for us. We need beef up front, plain and simple. Let's get to my favorite part of the show, which is hearing from you guys. I was reading through the comments, and King Skip brought up a great point about linebackers. He thinks Deontay Lawson would be a phenomenal pick because Alabama just breeds NFL talent. I agree 100%. Whether it's C.J. Mosley or Donte Hightower, Bama linebackers translate to the league. Lawson would be an instant impact starter, and we desperately need that speed and IQ in the middle of our defense. Next, we've got a bit of a controversy from the Bills-Broncos game that had everyone talking. Was it an interception or a catch? I saw a lot of Bills fans raging about this, but look, even Joe Burrow agrees with me on this. It was an interception. Clear as day. When two players go to the ground with simultaneous possession, the ground can't cause a fumble, but you have to survive the ground to complete the catch. The Bills receiver lost it, and the Broncos DB ripped it out before the process was over. If you don't maintain possession through the fall, it's a turnover. Don't be mad at the refs, be mad at the receiver for not securing the bag. It is fundamental football. Finally, King Lowry asked the million-dollar question, do we go tackle or linebacker in the first round? This is the debate that is going to define our offseason. Here is my verdict, you take the linebacker in the first round unless you signed a star linebacker in free agency. The drop-off in talent at linebacker from round 1 to round 2 is steep. You can still find a starting caliber tackle in the second round, like maybe Carter Smith, but a game-changing, field general linebacker. You have to grab him early. So, if the front office is listening, go get the quarterback of the defense first. Fix the middle of the field, and then come back and solidify the line. That is a wrap for today, folks. We covered a lot, from PFF disrespecting our boys to the Romeo Doubs sweepstakes. It is going to be a wild off-season, and we are just getting started. Make sure you let me know in the comments, who was your biggest snub on that best and worst list. And are you team tackle or team linebacker for the first round? I appreciate every single one of you rocking with me. Until next time, stay safe, love each other, and as always, keep pounding. Peace.